Welcome to the Drag Me to the Movies podcast. I'm Ned.
And I'm Joe.
In this episode, we're going to talk about Falling Down from 1993, directed by Joel Schumacher and stars Michael Douglas, Robert Duvall, Barbara Hershey, Rachel Ticotin. I'm not exactly sure how you say that, and Vondi Curtis Hall. So, Joe, what did you think of Falling Down?
Yeah, so first off, I'm happy to be back.
Yes, welcome back,
And
sir.
thank you. Thank you. And a big thank you to our interim co-hosts, uh, Dana and Warlock. Appreciate you guys stepping in. Needed a little bit of time away, but I am back, hopefully for a while again. But if not, it's good to know that I got two capable backups. You know, in our toolkit. I did
Mm.
listen to Dana's episode, and I really liked that. And surprise, surprise, loved the chemistry between you two. Isn't that weird? Um, and
My
I'm
wife.
sure I'll love the chemistry. That's right. And I'm sure I'll love the chemistry between you and Warlock as well. But like I said, I haven't gotten there yet to listen. So, but big thanks again to them, and big thanks to our listeners and viewers for being patient.
Yes, thank you
But
all.
yeah, we're here for Falling Down, which last we talked, Ned, I told you that this was one of the films I was getting some clips of on
Correct.
TikTok.
Yep.
And so I was interested in what this had to offer. And I'm happy to say that I did enjoy this film.
Good. Good.
Uh, yeah, I really liked the story of, Michael Douglas's, journey through this, even though it was kind of painful to watch, uh, and kind of relatable in some fashions.
Yes.
Uh, you know, um, it's interesting. It's interesting the undertones that happen in this film,
Mhm.
around, racism and classism and Americans being put down and taken advantage of and immigration and
All
all that
of
stuff.
the society
Right.
things.
Which is good to know that
Yeah.
it's not just a thing now. It was apparently the same way in '93. But I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
I think what I appreciate most about this film is, and at first I don't think I caught on to it, but over time I came to like it, is the parallel stories of Prendergast and Defense.
Mhm.
Um, they both are American citizens that should be down on their luck or are in some ways down on their luck,
Right.
but handle it drastically different. Um, and I
Correct.
and I like that that's how they, that's kind of the undertone of this whole film is everybody has a bad day. It's in how you handle it kind of thing. So love the story about that. Love the way they handle that story. Uh, just a fun aside that I took note of is Ned. I don't know if you picked up on this, but defense throughout the film, to me, it almost felt like he was playing inside of a video game in a way. And I'm curious if you know where I'm going with this.
Like GTA?
Kind of like GTA, but almost kind of like I don't know, like an RPG type game as well.
Mm.
So where I'm going with this is throughout the movie, defense is running into issues, right? Running into friction of
Right.
some type,
Yep.
right? And almost every time, well, I mean, I think it is every time. Every time he encounters some kind of friction, he quote unquote levels up. And I don't know if you noticed that,
Yeah, I
right?
mean, yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
So in the market store, right? He goes in fists, comes out with a baseball bat, leveled up. Runs into the gang members, right? Starts with a baseball bat, levels up to a switch knife, right? As the switch knife runs into the gang plus two in a car, levels up to a bag full of guns.
Mhm.
Runs into the Nazi surplus guy, bag full of guns, levels up to a rocket launcher. So throughout this whole film, it's funny to me, and that's just how I picked up on it, is that, defense is kind of leveling up every time he runs into an enemy, quote unquote.
Mhm.
Uh, you know? So, that was just a fun aside that I wrote down, and maybe it
Yes.
was just a weird
Well,
way
no,
that my
I think
brain.
they did a very good job of representing, like, because of construction, and it kinda circles back throughout the movie. He is in a car stuck in traffic on a very hot day, and due to that, he goes to get out of the car and ends up at the convenience store, and because of that, he can't afford the phone call he wants to make, so he gets the bat and cuts prices and gets his money to make the phone call. And because of that, like, it just kind of builds off of everything very nicely.
Right, right, and I, uh, I appreciate the, I don't know if this is a word, but the humanization, or how defense is humanized, or I guess they show his humanity throughout the time, even though he's like losing his mind and
Oh,
going
he's
like
straight up crazy.
over the top. He still has his morals that he's trying to stick to, you
Correct.
know?
Yep.
Like, I'm not trying to rob you. You think I'm trying to rob you? Like he doesn't rob them. Um, you know, when the gang is trying to get him off of his stoop, he's just arguing that it's public property. He's allowed to do what he wants until, they have a disagreement and he agrees to leave, but then they don't want him to leave without nothing, right? And so then he takes a stand. Um, when he goes into the surplus store to go get some stuff, and he finds out that the guy's trying to save him because he thinks he's a Nazi, and he's like, "What do you mean? I'm not. I'm nothing like you," and he
Mhm.
kills the Nazi, which again is overreacting, but still crazy. Um, when he hides in that millionaire's house, and he sees like the help having a barbecue, and he thinks that he hurt the little girl. And he's like, "Oh my god, I didn't hurt you. I didn't hurt you," and they're like, "Well, just take me as hostage and let the rest go." And he looks at him and he's like, "I'm not here to do hostage. You think I'm the bad guy?" And it's just really cool how Michael Douglas deserves a lot of credit on this, is just how well he handles being disturbed,
Yes.
but like having those snapbacks to being normal, being a human.
Yep.
um, so it's very interesting. Uh, they do a great job too with I think so they do a really good job also exploring other, I think, topics of like spousal abuse and stuff like that, and how Beth is calling the cops to have them, check to make sure her husband doesn't show up because he's been calling, and the one cop is questioning her on like, "Well, did he ever hit you?" Like, and she's like, "No, never." But you never know if he was going to, and it kind of like I think they downplayed, how much of a threat defense was going to be.
Right.
So there's that, there's always that like victim blaming type thing, or like overreacting
Well,
uh
and
thing
she
that
also
happens.
acknowledged that she didn't want the restraining order, but the judge pushed for it to make an example of him,
Right.
which that's a whole
Right.
other
That's
point
true
of view.
too. Yeah. Yep. uh there's again they talk about uh the shortage in cops
Mhm.
in LA, like how there's never cops around for anything,
Right.
and if they are, they're too late. Um I mean, hell, defense was out on the loose shooting the hell out of things for how long before before Prendergast even got close to him, like that's kind of scary to think that that could happen, and it probably could,
Right.
and all truth, right? Like that dense a population, it's probably hard to catch somebody like that. Uh, so they do a good job with that as well. It's interesting again, getting Prendergast's side of the house on how he's having a bad time, and it's just that like the hot shots in his department and stuff don't respect him and kind of treat him like crap, because he's at a desk job now, and he used to be like I don't know if he was like a beatnik cop or what he was before, but um, they kind of take it hard on him because of that. And again, he takes the high road and has the moral victory overall. So they handle that really well as well. Uh, What else do I want to say? There's definitely some plot armor sections of the movie as well.
Yeah.
Specifically the drive-by shooting. I don't know how I don't know how that machine gun
Yeah.
hit everybody around him, but not him.
Yep.
So there's a little bit of that. I do appreciate that there's a little bit of humor in the film as well. Um, the little kid teaching him how to shoot a missile launcher. Uh was pretty funny. Um, what else? Hmm, I don't know. I mean, just overall I thought the highlight of the film was definitely the undertoned message of it all, right? I mean, the action
Yeah.
and the acting was great, but I think the story behind, everybody has a bad go of it. It's just how you handle it kind of thing.
Yeah, there's
I
definitely,
think
a lot of that, and, like, I guess for me, this movie holds a mirror up to a lot of things, and it has been analyzed a lot throughout the years, some good, some bad, some think it's fascist, some think it's, a good representation of the everyman, just yeah, a little bit of everything.
mhm. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so, I think the, cinematography in the film was good.
Mhm.
Um, I can't think of anything that was, like, terribly, like, wowing on how, like, anything was shot. I just thought it was done well. The music being 90s music, almost more felt like the 80s vibe, I think, in a lot of cases for the music, but, um, it matched, I think, the tone of the
Yeah,
film.
and there's some good, like, tension music in there as well.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Uh, yeah, I think overall like I said, there's a lot to it. It's not a complex story, but it is, like
Yeah.
at face value if you just watch it, it's there's not a whole lot of substance there, but when you
Ah,
really understand what's going on deep down, there's a lot there and I appreciate that.
yeah. I have a lot to say about this one.
Okay. I think it's your turn.
So this movie, I didn't find it until I think is probably around 2005, 2006 maybe. Um, I watched it in college with a group of friends, and I was like, "How was this movie not on my radar?" Um, Between this and Office Space, it's like one of these paths is probably your future. So it kind of was interesting to me just to kind of see this movie and like how I don't know if you've ever read Batman: The Killing Joke.
I
Like,
haven't.
have you heard of it at all?
I have, yeah.
So the premise of that book, and actually it's a movie too now, um, is any man can kind of fall apart with just one bad day and become the Joker, essentially. And this movie definitely has a lot of parallels to kind of some of those elements. And, they even played upon the kind of premise with The Dark Knight, where the Joker is trying to push people to break. So I always kind of enjoyed that premise, and then seeing this and having those 2 kinda collide in my head, and of course, Robert Duvall's character definitely kinda has, like, the more positive outlook, kind of the Batman look and trying to, like, do the best he can with what is out there and available, uh, but, there's a lot of stuff in this movie that just between the divorce and him losing his job and having his kid taken away, having the restraining order, having, like, the hottest day that his stuck in traffic and sweating and there's a fly bugging him, like, they did such a good job of, like, showing how this man is to a breaking point, and then kinda finally breaks, and then I guess I circle back to one of my favorite quotes from Lost, and I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before, it's where, you know, Locke pretty much makes a statement is like, crazy people don't know they're going crazy. And I definitely feel
Mhm.
like that is represented here. And, on the other side, like he has all this stuff going on. He's just really trying to get to his daughter to give her a gift. And he gets to the end there and he's like, "Yeah, I'm the bad guy." Like the way he says that and truly believes it because like you have a moment right prior to that where he's watching those old home family movies and his reaction there as he's watching is like, "Oh, maybe I was too aggressive or something," and like kind of reflecting on how he behaved in those videos at that time. But that also kind of was a little bit of a breaking point for him as well that kind of pushed him further down the line. So
Right.
definitely different points of view, different things that can be taken either way. A lot of stuff that I really feel mirrors current society. Sadly, um, I don't know if it's just things haven't changed, things are circling back. I don't know entirely.
Yeah.
Obviously, people at different points in their life might reflect on things differently. So hard to say.
I know people have told me before that, uh, you know, what the country's going through now feels terrible, right? But we've gone through it before, you
Right.
know. Not saying things are worse or less worse than before, but history tends to repeat itself and
Right.
you know. So, yeah, it is interesting to get that snapshot. I mean, 93 wasn't I guess it is pretty long ago.
Over
What,
20 years
32
ago.
years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
Yep. Time is
Um,
flying, huh?
but yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, there's also kind of like the parallels where Robert Duvall's character, they had a daughter, lost her, so he's dealing with that. Defense is kind of losing his daughter and not able to get her back. And he's trying to fight for that. So I don't know. I really appreciate how this movie portrays both sides and kind of highlights the two different paths that can be chosen. Whether you just choose to lose your shit and go down the dark path, or try to make the best of it and go down the light path. Which again, this movie's called Falling Down, and there's something else in the kind of background, like when he gets that snow globe for his daughter, what song it's playing? Did you
No,
catch
what
that?
song was it? I didn't notice.
London Bridge is Falling Down, which ties into
Oh,
Robert Duvall. They're moving to Arizona where the London Bridge was moved
yeah.
to. There's a lot of that stuff and falling down and like just all that. I love how that little fun fact stuff is worked into there. Um, the breakfast scene, I love the breakfast scene and how that kind of plays out, and you know, it's
Oh, you mean
corporate.
at the burger place?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Where he wants breakfast, and they end up not doing it, and that's I mean, that could honestly been at that time, McDonald's was really doing that and holding to their guns on that, so it could have been a jab at them and how
Well, they still do that.
well, I think some of them actually serve all day breakfast. I don't know if they still do that or
They
not.
they don't anymore, no.
Yeah,
So,
so
yeah.
it's still relevant. Uh,
Right, and it was so funny to me in that scene. I don't know if you picked up on it when he was like when he shot or when he pulled the gun out and he's like, "Oh, give the man
accidentally
his
fired.
breakfast."
Yeah.
They reach behind and they pull a breakfast sandwich off the heater behind them.
Yep.
So, it wasn't like they didn't have it.
Right.
They were just being, jerks.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep, I did
so,
catch that.
yeah, it was just funny to me.
Yeah. But I mean, gosh, there's just so much in this movie between, you know, the racism, fascism, corporate America, like it shines a light and gives you different lenses. And I think I understand why some people are probably turned off by this movie because of how some things are portrayed. But in general, I feel that this movie does a good job of covering all the different things in a way that draws attention to them in an appropriate way to kind of make you aware of them. Like the not
Right.
economically viable guy. Don't forget me. Like he didn't. He requoted that later on.
Yeah,
Um,
sure did.
so definitely a lot of good things in this movie that I can't say enough good things about it. Like there's the army surplus dude, which yeah, he was pretty far gone, and um, though defense said I'm nothing like you, there are some parallels, which kind of reflects back on Batman for me and how some of the rogues tend to have elements of Batman himself in them.
Mhm.
So just all that stuff for me kind of comes full circle. But he has like a Nazi Santa in there and has the bazooka and
Right.
some other propaganda type things. Just crazy, and the way he even um, you know covered the gay guys in there and handled that situation was like, wow, this guy's just a kind of piece of
Mm.
shit.
Mhm.
So, but they cover everything, and even like the relationship between Robert Duvall's character and his captain, and how down looked upon he is because he gave up, and he's calling it quits, and like essentially be calling a giant pussy. Like, what?
Right.
He can't do nothing right. He's playing the system the best he can, but nothing is working for him. So I always thought that was. I also like the one part where, like, he was explaining why he's kind of retiring and stuff, and he was talking about his wife, where she had a dream that he died or something, and he went home and had to chase her around the house because she thought he was a ghost. Like, I
Right.
I I can't imagine being in that type of situation, and obviously there's tons of servicemen and officers and people out there who do these dangerous jobs, and I'm sure dealing with that at home is a challenge in itself. But just crazy uh, how all this stuff plays out. And then I also really liked the golf course scene where you have like the entitled
Oh, yeah.
golfers. He's like, the guy has a heart attack. He's like, "Good, now you're gonna die wearing that stupid little hat."
Yep.
I really appreciate, like, some of the quotes, the humor that's worked in here, and then there's a few other things, like, that are kind of pop culture related that this movie has influenced. I don't know if you're aware of them, but Iron Maiden does a song, "Man on the Edge," essentially this movie in music.
Oh, wow.
Foo Fighters, their "Walk" song, if you ever watched the music video for that, it's essentially the movie. Um,
Oh, I'm gonna have to go watch that.
yeah, and then, The Simpsons. The character Frank Grimes, I don't know if you remember him at all. He's the guy that
I
comes in,
don't.
is pretty serious, doesn't understand how Homer has a job and isn't following any of the processes and kinda has a mental breakdown throughout the episode. Uh,
Oh, okay, I do. I do remember that.
yeah. Yep. That was inspired by Falling Down. So, I mean, I could go on and on about this movie. I just honestly feel like they did such a good job of really showing things in a way. And then there's also like around this time that this movie's being shot, you had this all kind of took place in LA. Rodney King riots were happening around this time, and they were forced to actually relocate some of the shots to the Warner Brothers sets because of those riots. So there's a lot of tension in the movie, a lot of real tension in real life as it's being shot, just all that craziness. And then I don't know if you caught it, the scene where he's making a call, gets out of the phone booth, and that guy's giving him hell, and he ends
Mhm.
up shooting in the phone booth. There's a big ass Sir Mix-a-Lot promotion behind him.
I did. I did see
Yeah.
that.
So, like, all that stuff was happening, and they're like, "Ah, just leave it in." But this movie is one of Michael Douglas's favorites that he's done, and even his dad, um, Kirk Douglas, says this is one of his son's best movies. Uh, so, with that, I digress. I don't know if there's anything else you want to touch upon, but
I don't think so. I think we talked everything I wanted to.
all right, fair enough. All right, then let's get to the score, sir. You want to go first?
All right. Yeah, so I ended up giving this one a 3.5.
A 3.5.
Yeah, I want to give it a 4, but like I don't know that it's one that I'll go back and watch a whole lot. I'll definitely watch it again. It's just not one that I'll probably like every other year, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up with 3.5.
Yeah. Okay. I'm actually a little bit further away from you than typical. If you can't tell what direction that is based on the way I've been talking. I'm at a
You gave it a 2.
No, I gave it a 4.5 out of 5.
Nice.
There are definitely still some issues with this and some plot armor stuff that like just but holistically this movie I was kind of blown away like how this character he is the villain, but he's also kind of sympathetic and you feel for him in some ways. And then just there are times in my life where I have those similar bad days, but I choose the good path most of the time. I haven't
Mhm.
had the very bad day that I just break, so hopefully that never comes. But yeah, I appreciate movies like this that kind of do that.
Right. Yep.
All right, so let's talk about recommendations. The next movie we do will be pretty close to Christmas time, so how about Dear Santa? Stars Jack Black.
I'm down.
You're down?
I'm down. I don't know anything about it. So I like Jack Black, so
Okay.
I'm
Good.
in.
Good. All right. So that's gonna wrap up this episode. Be sure to check us out on Threads and Facebook at To the Movies Pod. And we're also on YouTube at The Movies Pod. And thanks for joining, Joe. Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks for dragging me to this movie.
No problem. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.